Hi, hello, it's Nikki, and welcome to my messy bookshelf. And today we are having a discussion about a book that I couldn't shut up about, and that is Project Hail Mary. And today we are joined by my husband, Alex. Say hello, Alex.
Hello.
So what I did was I got some book club questions, and we are going to take turns just asking each other a couple of these questions. And now, I know, Alex, you are not the biggest reader, but you do read several books a year. And if I do say so myself, when I recommend books to you, you tend to really love them. So I was reading this while he was away on a training exercise, and I couldn't shut up about it every time he called home. So I did end up convincing him to read it while he was out there and had some downtime. So tell me what you thought of
I thought it was a very good book. I really enjoyed the way it started. To me, it was very unique because you just didn't know the situation at all. Just that opening sequence, you did not understand. You were just, what is going on? There's this big robot molesting this guy. No one knows what's happening. I thought it was perfect. And then I loved how you slowly learned the story as it went. Definitely, I want to spoil things for the...
Well, no. So we are having a discussion and we're going over some book club questions. So I think it's safe to say there may be some spoilers in this discussion. So, yeah, if you haven't read it, or if you don't care about the book being spoiled, or if you haven't read it, you might not want to watch this video. If you haven't read it and you don't care about spoilers, then maybe stick around. But many of you I know have read it, because I remember talking about it in a video, and several people said how much they loved this book. And like I said, this is one of those books that I felt I had to have a conversation with someone about. So yeah, you can spoil.
Okay. And just, how it started. Like, you just picture this man being a hero. He volunteered to save, and then turns out that is not the case. His ass got drugged and shipped off against his will, but that's because they trusted him and all that. I thought it was amazing. It was definitely a good read.
And that's why when I wouldn't shut up about it to you, and finally you were like, fine, I'll read it. And I think you ended up downloading it on Kindle, right?
Yes, I read it on Kindle.
Yep. And I went back and I listened to the audio after I read the book because I loved it that much. So
I didn't finish the audiobook, but I did enjoy it as well. Like, I got to meet Rocky and all that.
Yeah, I love Rocky. But I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You can ask me a couple. So I'm going to ask you the first question here, which is, why do you think the project to save Earth was named Project Hail Mary?
I think it's just because it's such a long shot, and that's what a Hail Mary is. Like, I'm not a big football nerd, but I know what a Hail Mary is. That is essentially what I think it was. It's a long shot. They're just going to go for it, and that's why I think they named it that.
Agreed. I thought it was very clever the way they came up with that name. Do you want to ask me a question?
I didn't read the questions, though.
They're right there.
But I didn't read them beforehand.
Okay.
What was your favorite part?
I think my favorite part is when Dr. Grace figured out how to communicate with Rocky.
That's a good part, yes.
Yeah.
When using the computer and all that.
Yeah.
I thought it was very clever.
Based on Dr. Grace's memories of him being a teacher, what do you think his strengths were?
I think having an open mind, for sure. Just the situation itself. Honestly, it just really leads into the very, very end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
When he's able to make that full circle and become a teacher for Rocky's race.
Oh, I thought that was pretty
I thought it was a cherry on top at the end there. Yeah, but besides that, like, throughout the story, it really didn't, You're just a teacher that got sent on this mission.
Well, I think a lot of it was how much he cared about those kids, and as his memories were unfolding, you realize how much he did care about them, and he wanted them to have a future. So, yeah, I think that.
But he still didn't want to do it. They drugged him and sent him.
Yes, I mean, but he could have stayed there and just floated away into nothingness and let the planet, crash and burn. Essentially.
Yeah, but he's also a scientist too, and they're just curious by nature.
Yeah, that's true. Talking about cultural differences, Grace and Rocky develop an unspoken rule to accept their cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
How does this rule help them as crewmates? And I found this question interesting because based on what you and I have done for a living for the past couple decades I could relate to this question a lot. So,
I mean, generally speaking, when you spend months at a time in confined spaces, you generally get to know the people you're working with and develop a bond. One could even say that some of the trials and tribulations that they had to deal with trauma bonded them.
That's a big part of what we've done for the past couple decades.
So yeah, I would say there was a little bit of trauma bonding in there. But no, they developed a deep friendship that whole time. I remember when Rocky decided to jump into the oxygen, catch on fire to save Grace.
Oh, yeah. I think the sleep aspect was also pretty adorable.
Hilarious.
Yes.
I laughed. So he's like, you want to watch me sleep?
Yeah. So talking about the cultural differences, that's something I think in this particular case, or in a lot of situations where, say, it's the military or law enforcement or whatever, I think that it is very helpful to have those cultural differences. And it's crazy to see how you can bond and your friend group can look so diverse. I think that we probably have worked in one of the most diverse career fields that you possibly could. I think at one point we had a friend group that consisted of an asexual woman, a gay man, a black dude, a dude from Hong Kong, and we played D&D together. So yeah, I think that the different aspects of people's cultures can help solve bigger problems because you don't have that same narrow-minded kind of thinking when you have all of the same. So I think that was the best part for me of the whole novel, was their differences and coming together and becoming best friends. So I just love that.
Now I have to ask you, because I know when I first read this part, I cackled out loud on a bus full of coworkers because we were going to a flight, and I cackled when I read, "He's a big ass spider." And I could just imagine your reaction to reading that. What was your reaction?
I went, "Ah!" I think that the viewers don't know that I have a pathological, unnatural, irrational fear of spiders. So yes, I did have an audible, actual heart-thumping reaction to that moment. I think went, "Ah!"
I laughed so hard at that part because I just couldn't imagine your reaction to that.
Yeah, so. I did have a reaction to that part. Indeed. I don't think we're going to go over all these questions, but how, with the ethical aspect of Strat and how she was able to get Grace on that ship, discuss the ethical implications, and do you agree with what she did?
I mean, I don't agree with what she did, but we time and time through that whole book, you saw that she was willing to do whatever it took. Mm-hmm. She got her way. That's why they put her in charge overall. She got her way with everything. Yeah. Even the tiny thing of like, oh, they copyrighted stuff. She strong-armed the judge and the opposing people.
What was I think she said something like, "You and what army?" when they said they were gonna restrain her or something, and she had like.
She strong-armed him, but it wasn't just that. There was multiple moments as well, like, oh, hey, we need a little more time. Hey, we're going to just go ahead and cause global warming now. You know, and release a bunch of gas.
Yeah.
But
I think that...
she did whatever it took. I don't agree with it, but...
Had she not done what she did,
exactly,
all of humanity would have been destroyed. All of humanity and all of the life on Earth would have been destroyed. So I think it is an ethical dilemma because I don't agree with that, but
I spilled some.
You're right over there.
Stop it.
I don't agree with how she did it, but I think it was necessary. And I hate to say for the greater good, but my gosh.
I mean, that's essentially what it was for the greater good. You know what? Though I would have liked to have seen some of the aftermath, like, you know, after they fixed it. Like, all right, well, she also, you know, broke a lot of these rules here. I'll be curious to see if there would be like a trial.
I could imagine that she would probably get sacrificed for.
I don't know.
Not sacrificed like that, but like, you know what I mean. They would have said, "Okay, you did a lot of unethical, terrible things, and
here's prison."
Yeah, here's prison. So yeah, I don't know. Did you find the scientific concepts in Project Hail Mary believable, and did they enhance or complicate your enjoyment of the story?
I found them believable. I mean, but I'm also not a scientist. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit there as I read and then like go fact check every single thing. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's maybe some scientists are like, oh, that's not fucking possible. Like, sorry, didn't mean to curse. That's not possible. You know, but again, I'm just a regular Joe Schmo.
Yeah. I thought it was believable as well. And like you, I wasn't fact checking every single little thing, but there were a couple moments in there that I read certain things and I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of this. And I had some familiarity with some of the concepts in the story. I think maybe we'll do one more question unless you want to do more. But I was going to ask you, what theories do Grace and Rocky develop to explain their similar evolutionary traits or their differences? I don't know if you remember with Rocky not being able to... I don't think he didn't see. He used essentially sonar.
Okay, like that. Yeah.
And he had a lot thicker skin and, you know, much more dense of a creature than Grace, obviously, as a human. So,
I don't know about that question.
Okay. I kind of found that one interesting because I remember when they were discussing, or when Grace was talking about the atmosphere on Rocky's planet, the atmosphere had to have been super, super thick, so sound was kind of a...
I remember it was a lot hotter, for sure.
Yeah.
And then that's why when Grace was like, how did you fucking... When Grace was like, how did you... how did you guys, you know, get this perfect temperature or get this, you know, high enough temperature? And they're like, oh, we just threw it in the ocean.
Oh, that is pretty funny.
But there was that. There was when Grace had to explain, hey, I need to eat and then I need to sleep for X amount of time or I get cranky and can't think straight. And then Rocky was making sure he slept at that around the time. Yeah. Then Rocky, when he did go and save Grace in oxygen, caught on fire, got back. There was that time where Grace almost killed him because he was blowing off the soot, or what he was thought was soot, but it was supposed to heal him.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, there were so many funny moments in that book. I don't know. I think that's why I loved it so much, because it was so epic. It was an adventure. I love, and you know I love, an adventure story with friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Friendship.
How do you think the movie's gonna do?
I think the movie is going to be
Well, because
pretty epic.
you read The Martian. I did not read The Martian, but I did enjoy the book, or not the book, the movie. So
I thought that they did an excellent job with The Martian. It was probably one of the best examples that I can think of off the top of my head that followed the book so well. So
you think they're gonna do a good job with this one? Like,
I think so. I know we've watched a few trailers, and so far so good. It seems like they're sticking pretty close, just from the.
I mean, we both know they're gonna have to cut some things.
Yeah.
Some things are gonna get cut, but
I think in one of the trailers I heard the sounds that they have for Rocky, and I liked that. I also liked the way that they made Rocky look. I think they picked perfect actors for Strat and for Grace himself. So
I don't know if I was feeling Ryan Gosling yet. I gotta see how he acts.
Ryan Gosling.
Gosling. My Gosling.
Yes. I think that he looks the part, you know, kind of nerdy, you know, scientist.
I did like how they made Rocky ship look, though. I thought it looked super
Yeah, it
cool.
looked pretty epic, and it kind of, because that was one of the things I had a hard time
visualizing. Yeah,
visualizing
I
when
did
I
too.
read. So I thought the way that they designed that looked really cool. So, but yeah, do you have anything else you'd like to say about the book? Would you like to acknowledge that I give great book recommendations to you?
You give great book recommendations to me. Thank you so much.
I know I do.
You didn't pay me to say this at all.
No, I didn't. Okay, but yeah, that was just us having a little discussion about Project Hail Mary, because I have been wanting to talk about this book and get some of y'all's thoughts as well. So I thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video, and I thank you, Alex, for coming onto my channel. I know you have to go stream for your channel here soon, so yeah, but I thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.
Toodles.
Bye.
Hit the button. Hit it.